The Passion of our Lord Jesus Christ, according to Mark.
And now the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread were 2 days away. And the chief elders and the teachers of the law secretly conspired to kill Jesus, but not during the festival, for the people may riot. Jesus was in Bethany, reclined at the table of Simon the leper. A woman came in with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume made of full nard. She broke the jar and poured his head. Now there were some who were innocent. Why should this woman, waste such expensive perfume? Surely she could have sold it for more than a year's wages and given the money to the poor. And they rebuked her. "Alone," Jesus said. "Why do you? She has done a great thing unto me. The poor you will always have, and you can take care of them when you wish, but you will not always have me. This woman has poured perfume on my body and prepared it for burial. Truly I say to you, wherever the gospel is celebrated, remembered and honored for what she has done today." Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went to the chief priests and the elders and said, "I am willing to betray Jesus." And they were very glad. They were going to offer him large sums of money. Judas waited for a moment to hand Jesus over. Now, on the first day of the Passover, when it is customary to sacrifice the Passover lamb, disciples came up to Jesus and asked, "Where would you like for us to make the preparations to eat the Passover?" Jesus chose 2 disciples and sent them into the city and said, "Upon arrival in the city, you will see a man holding a jar. Ask the owner of the home wherever he enters. The teacher asked, 'Where is my guest room? Where can I prepare for the Passover to eat with my disciples?' The man will lead you to a great upper room already furnished, and there you will make your preparations." And the 2 disciples went into the city and found things just the way that Jesus had described, and so they began their preparations. Later that evening, Jesus arrived with the 12, and as they start eating, he said, "One of you will betray me. One of you that is eating with me." And this saddened the disciples greatly. And one by one they asked, "Surely you do not eat meat?" "It is one of the 12, Jesus answered. "One of you who dips their bread in my bowl. It is said that the Son of Man must be betrayed. But woe to him that betrays the Son of Man, for it would be best had he never been born at all." And while they were eating, he took bread. He gave thanks. He broke the bread, gave it to his disciples, and said, "Take, eat. This is my body." And then he took the cup. Again he gave thanks, passed the cup around, and all drank. "This is my blood of the new covenant. It will be shed for many. But lo, I say to you, I shall not drink again of the fruit of the vine until I drink it new in heaven." And after they sang a hymn, they walked to the Mount of Olives. "Truly I say to you," Jesus said, "all of you will fall away, for it is written, 'I shall strike the shepherd, and the sheep shall scatter.' But once I am risen again, I will lead you all into Galilee." And then Peter said, "Surely if all will fall away, I will not." "Truly I tell you," Jesus said, "today, yes, tonight, before the rooster crows twice, you will disown me 3 times. Peter emphatically denies this. "Even if I were to die with you, I would not disown you." They went to a place called Gethsemane. Jesus told the disciples, "Stay here while I pray." He chose Peter, John, and James and went a little further off. And then he was disturbed and troubled. "My soul is sorrowful to the point of death," he said. "Stay here and keep watch." Going a little further off, Jesus fell to his knees and began to pray that this hour would pass him by. "Abba, Father, all things are possible with you. Please take this cup from me, but let it be thy will and not my will." Jesus returns to the disciples and found them sleeping. "Simon," he says to Peter, "are you sleeping? Can you not keep awake for 1 hour? You better pray, lest ye fall victim to temptation. The flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing." A second time, Jesus goes off and prays in the same way. Coming back, he finds the disciples sleeping again, for their eyes were heavy. A third time, he walks away, comes back. "Are you still sleeping?" he said. "Enough. The hour is at hand. See now, the Son of Man is to be handed over to sinners. Rise up, my betrayer has arrived." And at that moment, Judas Iscariot arrived with men armed with swords and clubs. The betrayer had already arranged a signal. "The one I kiss, arrest him and lead him away." Straight away, Judas walks up to Jesus and says, "Rabbi," and kisses him. The men seize Jesus. Someone draws a sword, and the ear of one of the elders' servants is sliced off. "Am I leading rebellion," asked Jesus, "that you come armed thus way? I have been amongst you many days, teaching in the temple squares, and never did you arrest me. But the scriptures must be fulfilled." And all of his disciples ran away and fled. The guards take Jesus to the high priest and assemble all the elders, the Sanhedrin, and all the teachers of the law. Peter follows at a distance, but stops in the courtyard. He sits down to warm his hands at the fire with the soldiers. The elders and all the Sanhedrin seek evidence to convict Jesus to death. But though many people give many falsehoods against Jesus, their testimony does not align. And some stood up and blatantly falsely accused him. "I heard this man say, he will tear down the temple that was built by human hands and rebuild a new temple without human hands." But even then, the evidence does not match. And so the high priest steps forward and asks Jesus, "Will you not defend yourself? Do you not hear all of these accusations laid against you?" But Jesus remained silent. And once more the high priest asked, "Are you the Messiah? Are you the Son of the Mighty One?" "I am," said Jesus. "And you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of the Powerful One, and you will see him coming on the clouds of heaven." The high priest tore his clothes. "What need we for more witnesses? Surely you hear the blasphemy. What do you want to do?" They say that Jesus is worthy of death. And then some begin to spit at him. They blindfold him, strike him with a fist, cry out to him, "Prophecy!" And then the guards take him away and beat him. In the courtyard, Peter sits, warming his hands by the soldiers' fire. And a servant girl of the high priest comes out into the courtyard and sees Peter standing there and says, "Surely you are with the Nazarene, Jesus." Peter denies this. "I do not understand what you are talking about." And he moves further away into the courtyard. And the servant girl, seeing him there, says to the people around, "Surely this fellow is one of them." Peter denies it. And then the people assemble around Peter and say, "Surely you are with him, for you are a Galilean." Peter hurled down curses and swore at them, "I do not know this man that you speak of." And immediately the rooster crows. And Peter remembers the words of Jesus, "Before the rooster crows the second time, you will disown me 3 times." Peter became dismayed, fell to his knees and wept. The chief priests and the Sanhedrin executed their plan. They take Jesus to Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate asks, "Are you the king of the Jews?" "As you say I am," said Jesus. The chief priests, the Sanhedrin, they level many accusations against Jesus. And Pilate again asks, "Do you hear these accusations? Will you not answer for yourself?" And Jesus remained silent, and Pilate was amazed. Now, it's custom during the festival that a prisoner is released, determined by the crowd. There was a prisoner, Barabbas, who was imprisoned during the uprising for being an insurrectionist and committing murder. And so the people come to Pontius asking that the tradition be filled. Pilate asks them, "What do you want me to do with the king of the Jews?" For he knew that it was a self-serving self-interest of the high priest that they even leveled these accusations against him. But the high priests went amongst the crowd and incited them to ask for Barabbas to be released. Pilate again asked the crowd, "What should I do with this person you call the king of the Jews?" "Crucify him," they say aloud. "Why?" Pilate asks. "What crime did he commit?" But the crowd yells all the louder, "Crucify him!" To appease the crowd, Pilate releases Barabbas. He then has Jesus flogged and sent away to be crucified. The soldiers take Jesus into that is the praetorium, and they summon the entire company of soldiers to surround him. They dress him in a purple robe. They twist a crown of thorns and set it on his head. They scream to him, "Hail, King of the Jews!" They strike him many times in the head with a staff, and they spit at him. They fall prostrate and pay homage to him. And when they had mocked him, they took off the purple robe and placed his own clothes upon him, and then led him out to be crucified. Now there was a certain man from Cyrene, Simon, the father of Alexander and Rufus. And as he was walking through the country at that time, he was conscripted by the soldiers to carry the cross. They take the cross to the place Golgotha, which is the place of the skull. They offer Jesus a mixture of myrrh and wine, but he refuses it. And they crucified him. Dividing amongst themselves Jesus' belongings, they cast lots to see who would get what. They crucified him at the 9th hour in the morning, the accusation read, "The King of the Jews." They also crucified two rebels with him, one on his right and one on his left. And as the people walked by, shaking their heads, hurling insults, saying, "This man said he was going to tear down the temple, yet he cannot even take himself down from the cross." And the high priests and the teachers of the law, they mocked him amongst themselves. "He helps so many," they said, "but he cannot help himself. Let this Messiah, this King of Israel, take himself down from the cross so that we may see and believe." And those crucified alongside him also heaped insults on him. At noon, the sky blackened and turned dark. And then at 3:00, Jesus gave out a loud cry, "Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani," meaning, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And the people assembled there says, "Listen, he evokes Elijah." Someone ran and grabbed a sponge filled with wine vinegar, set it on a stick, and offered it to Jesus to drink. And they said, "Now leave him alone. Let us see if Elijah takes him down." Giving a loud cry, Jesus breathed his last. The curtain in the temple was shorn in two from top to bottom. And the centurion standing guard, seeing how he had died, said, "Surely this man is the Son of God." There were several women watching from a distance: Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James the younger, and John, as well as Salome. These women had followed Jesus during his ministry in Galilee and attended to his needs. Many more women also came into Jerusalem with Jesus. And it was the preparation day, that is, the day before the Sabbath. And so as evening came, Joseph of Arimathea, already a prominent member of the council and already someone looking for the kingdom of God, boldly approached Pilate and asked for Jesus' body. Pilate was surprised that Jesus had already died, and he called for the centurion. Once the centurion had confirmed that Jesus had died, he gave Jesus' body to Joseph. Joseph buys fine linen. He takes the body down from the cross. He wraps the body in linen and then sets the body into a tomb cut out of rock. He rolls a stone across the entrance to the tomb. Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, knew where he was laid.